Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship. Wait, we got a drink next to the team. Yeah, we can handle it.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fight Pit. Thank you guys for joining us. Went on a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back, and it feels oh so good. Today, we are taking a look at UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Teixeira, going down Saturday, July 12th at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Good old Nashville, baby. Before we get into this episode, got to give a nice warm welcome back to Mr. Bad Beats, Sean of the Dead. How you doing, Sean? It's good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm doing pretty good. Last couple weeks, just like for everyone, it's been a little wonky, so it's good to actually do this one. Sucks that we missed 317, but you know, things happened. We all had schedules, so
it does happen. We still, even though we didn't do episodes, we still did pretty good for our picks. We'll recap some of that, go over some of the stuff. We did pretty damn good for our picks. Official picks for 317. Sean, you only missed one on your official picks.
Moicano.
Yeah, Moicano. I missed Hyder, Moicano, Kattar, France, and Oliveira. So 4 out of 11. Not too bad. Bad. Matt had a rough one, but Matt is usually pretty on it, and we're all bound to have rough cards here and there. So
I had a 4 fight night stretch that I couldn't get above 500. I was bad as the Yankees.
It happens, man. It happens. Everything comes in waves. You just gotta, when those waves aren't breaking, you just gotta ride it, and eventually you'll catch a fucking barrel, and it'll look beautiful.
Yeah.
Just to go back and recap some stuff that we missed from 317. First and foremost, got to give a shout out to the homie Hyder. Amil took his first professional loss, but it don't matter. He's going to come back better, stronger, faster, as always. That dude, he's personal friend of mine, personal friend through other personal friends, and just one of the greatest dudes that you could hope to know. One of the best people in the organization, and just one of the most inspirational stories in the UFC right now. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, go check out the Hyder Amil interview. Go check out any Hyder Amil interview. He was just on the Casuals podcast recently. He's been making the rounds. He's a fantastic dude. He's a great guy. And if there's one thing that I know about Hyder, he is always going to keep the spirits high, keep the motivation high. There's nothing that you can do to get that guy down on himself. He's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep looking to get better, and he's going to come back better than ever. And I'm hoping that he was the betting underdog on this last card. I'm hoping he's the betting underdog going into his next fight, because I know that whoever he goes up against on the next one is going to have a very, very rough night. Also, we got to give a shout out to Payton Talbott. Total opposite, flip side of the coin, getting back on the winning track and making it fun, making it look fun, making it look easy. How'd you feel about that Payton Talbott return?
I had a lot of different feelings because Lima was definitely the favorite for a reason, and that was because his grappling is very good, and on top of it, he does have very clean striking, so you were thinking he was going to use that to set up the takedowns. And in the first round, which was very close, he was doing that well. He would do that to try to get the takedown, try to get grappling, but then the last 2 rounds, he went away from that completely, and it might have been because he was getting pieced up. It could have been that. It seemed a little bit like almost like a fight IQ thing. Like, we talk about this once in a blue moon. Like, sometimes it's like, hey, like, there is a game plan, but we also have to give credit. 5 months between fights, and Payton Talbott looks like a completely different grappler. Completely different. 5 months ago, he kind of got schooled on the ground a little bit. The only thing he didn't do was get submitted or ground and pounded, but he stayed on the ground for 3 rounds. This fight, complete different story. he was winning most of the grappling exchanges. If he did go down, he got back up. He even tried to get a takedown here or there. Payton Talbott looked great on the feet. The only thing that was, I don't know if it was Payton Talbott thought that this guy really didn't hit hard, or he knew he didn't hit hard, because he kind of had his chin a little too in there, if you notice a couple times, and he did look hittable, but it also could have been, hey, this guy has nothing on his punches. Definitely off the back foot. And if that's the case, if that's the reason, cool, whatever. But in the future, hopefully Payton Talbott kind of tucks the chin a little bit, like covers up a little bit. He just had his hands down by the sides and chin forward, like, but you're going to get hit, please. But it was a good fight all around.
I've followed his entire career. I live where he's from, and I'm friends with training partners of his since before he started fighting professionally. I've seen every single fight of his from when he was 19 years old as an amateur all the way up through to now. That's been a common thing, is that he's not afraid to take one to throw one. He never has been. If you watch any of his amateur fights, he was the same. And like how we were saying, that, you know, his grappling, the last one with Barcelos, of course it didn't sit right with us because we're such huge Payton Talbott fans, but I also knew that Payton Talbott was much more capable of handling the grappling than he showed in that fight too. The last fight that we just saw with Lima, that is, I was saying while we were watching it, that's the exact Payton Talbott that I know, that I've seen. That's how so many of his fights have gone. He's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to exchange. He's not afraid to stand in the pocket. He gets into some crazy grappling scrambles that just make you, I mean, on the Contender Series, you saw him backflipping out of single legs and stuff. Like because Barcelos, you know, dominated him on the ground, so many people, you know, had this narrative that he's only a striker and he has no grappling, which has never been true. Barcelos was just the better fighter. He was the better grappler on that night, and he was a veteran, savvy veteran, been around a long time, older dude, and you know, you run into guys like that sometimes. And even though you might be more capable of handling the grappling exchanges and stuff, sometimes you just get guys that are just that fucking good, and they just, you know, they know how to beat you to the punch in certain areas. Grappling, a lot of times, you know, people will call it like human chess, where, you know, you got to kind of think a couple moves ahead and stuff like that. There's some guys out there that are just 5, 6, 7 moves ahead of you at all times, and no matter how good you are, they keep you on your ass, and it gets incredibly frustrating. It's happened to me more often than not. But that was so fucking awesome to see Payton Talbott in his element, doing his thing, you know, walking down Lima, whether he was getting caught or not, walking him down, smiling during the exchanges, just having fun with it, enjoying the violence, enjoying the fucking chaos. And that's just, you know, that's what we love Payton Talbott for. That's just what won us over and what continues to win us over. So very happy to see Payton Talbott back in the win column. And for anybody tuning in, don't forget, we had him first. We were the first ones to have Payton Talbott on for an interview. He was our first professional fighter, our first UFC fighter interview. The full interview was axed. Our last house call channel that had the interview got shut down, but we do still have the clips as proof. We do still have the receipts, and he's such a superstar now. I don't know if we'll ever get him back, but we did have him first, so we're hanging our hat on that no matter what. And we are always going to support Payton Talbott, always going to support everybody that's been kind enough to do an interview with us. Hyder, Amil, Max Griffin, we're going to cover on this card. Shout out to everybody else: Stitch Duran, Sam Alvey, Ross Levine, who else? Jenny Savage, Cole Escovedo, anyone else I can't forget. But you guys can go watch all of the interviews that we did. We'll be starting those back up soon, so check them on out. And hopefully, you know, at some point in time we can get big enough and be able to get Payton back on, be able to get maybe a John Jones, maybe a Kevin Holland. I know Gage has been vying for the Kevin Holland one. I got a handful of people on the docket that I'm looking forward to sitting down and chatting with. So stay tuned to that. The other fighters, other than just covering people that we know and have talked to in the fight pit, we got the Joshua Van Brandon Royval fight. Holy shit, bro. Pretty much went exactly as we called it on the one previous episode when we broke the news. It was a couple weeks ago. Might have been the Roundtree Hill card, where we covered the Joshua Van was stepping in on short notice to face Brandon Royval for #1 contendership. And dude, I mean, not to toot our own horns, bro, but a couple weeks in advance, we essentially fucking called that shit to a T. That was fight of the night, possibly fight of the year, definitely fight of the night on that card, and a few others. You could put that fight on most cards and it's gonna win fight of the night. And Joshua Van coming out and just snatching up #1 ranking in under a year. I think it was like September of last year that he debuted or so, or was at least unranked. And dude, he's a problem, bro. He's a problem. How'd you feel about that fight, given that we are such big Joshua Van stands? And how do you think him and Pantoja goes?
First, Brandon Royval, it was a ballsy move, taking the hottest dude in the division. This guy was hot before he even made it into rankings. He wasn't even ranked before 316. He got his ranking because of 316, and now he got #1 ranked because of 317. It was a ballsy move, but at the same thing, you got to give credit to both sides. Brandon Royval, you took the dog on, you brought the fight. I would have liked you to try to get takedowns. That's another thing. But at the same point, sometimes when you get in a firefight and you're just loving it, that's how it's going to go. Like, some of these guys, they just love it.
Royval was a little bit taller too. Van is small and fucking spunky. So those guys are very difficult to get a hold of at times.
Definitely. And we've seen in previous fights against, I think he went up against a Japanese fighter, not Royval, Van, an up and coming kid that was like 26 years old. I would have to look back at who it was, but he was a very strong grappler. And Joshua Van got taken down, I think, once in the 3-round fight, and I think he won 29-28 decision.
Ray Saruya.
Yeah. Is it Japanese? I want to make sure that I was correct with that.
Double check real quick. Yeah.
Japanese, okay. And very good grappler. And that was one of those, I'm like, man, if he gets through the rankings, he gets a Pantoja. Pantoja's a sloppy thrower. And we saw in this fight, anytime Royval, that's a way better striker, threw sloppy, Joshua Van made him pay. Every time a looping punch or just a weird combo came in that wasn't clean, Joshua Van's like, oh, you're going to eat 2 immediately. No hesitation. And you've seen against the grapplers, he'll push forward because he doesn't care. He's like, you can't take me down or keep me down. That's what I'm excited for against Pantoja, is Joshua Van's not going to be playing off the fence. He'll be pushing into Pantoja's face. Pantoja's going to be, we see it every fight, he runs across the octagon basically and bull rushes. It's going to be interesting if he stuffs those first 3 to 4 takedowns in the first round. That's going to be a scary situation for Pantoja. But also, what happens if Joshua Van is on his back and Pantoja's in guard, which we haven't seen Van in that position. We've had him taken down and he kind of stands right back up against the fence. We haven't seen him on his back before. So there, and that's where Pantoja wants to get you, and then work his way to a better position, get behind you, backpack you, work for a submission. Like that fight is so good. It really is. And if it somehow ends in the first round, I will be kind of upset, just because I could see this being a absolute war of a fight. The grappling will be great. The stand-up will be really good. And the thing is, when you go against a guy that's a good grappler, they're going to land more on you because you're worried about keeping your hands low. And that's where I think Pantoja could actually get even cleaner shots than Brandon Royval did. And it just, to me, I wanted this fight as soon as I heard that Brandon Royval, Joshua Van started. I was like, oh, I really hope this fight happens. And we got it. So
it's coming. It's coming. I agree. It's going to be it has the potential to be an exciting fight. Don't know that it will be, just because both of these guys are so lethal that it could end in the first round. Like we kind of similar to how we saw with this Kai Kara France fight too. Kai Kara France gutted because he was who I picked to be the champ at the end of 2025. So I was really hoping that he was going to be able to do that. But I honestly will go ahead and segue into that fight too. I really thought that Kai Kara France was going to put up much more of a test for Pantoja in this one than actually happened. And once again, here we are after a Pantoja fight talking about how incredibly fucking dominant he is and how it's going to be very difficult for anybody to contest with him as long as he stays in this form that he's in right now. What are your thoughts on that fight? And I mean, we kind of know who's going to be next, so we don't really gotta we don't really have to brainstorm that too hard. But how soon would you like to see that fight happen? Is there a card specifically you think would be good for that? You think they both need to take time off, or should Van keep trying to push and keep it rolling?
It's really based off of their schedules. They both fought the same night. One of them took less damage than the other, but Joshua Van didn't. Like, you saw him in the face-off right afterwards. Unless they put makeup on him, he didn't have much on his face. Like, Joshua Van, he took those shots and didn't really show anything for him. And I would say what probably will happen is they will try to get co-main event at Madison Square Garden. That will probably be the case. You put Joshua Van, if he could win, that's star power, beating the second greatest flyweight of all time. And I think we all can agree now that Pantoja is the second greatest flyweight of all time.
Absolutely.
There was still a little bit of debate with maybe a Davis and Figueiredo because, like, they really didn't fight. I think they may have fought and Figueiredo might have won a long time ago. I could have, but I don't know the history. But I would definitely say now it's clear as day that the second greatest flyweight is Pantoja, and that means something. Like, Joshua Van, and also could be the youngest champion, tying John Jones at 23 years old in Madison Square Garden, beating the second greatest flyweight of all time. There's a rocket ship, and his style of fighting is awesome. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. So, but Kai Kara France, it's weird. I kind of said it, like, whenever he fights a guy that knows how to grapple a good amount, it's like he's almost afraid to strike. Like, and that's what he did. He was afraid to strike in that fight. He went down to a knee twice or three times just to throw a strike, just so he couldn't get taken down as a counter. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That had to be nerves of some sort. He was that scared. And honestly, well, he was rightfully so, being that scared of it, because look what Pantoja did. But, man, it shows you how much of a different level Pantoja's grappling is at. It really does.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And given they did fight in the past, I thought that he would be a little bit more confident, since he was not exactly going up against somebody that he was completely unknown against. They had history on the Ultimate Fighter and had fought a lot of the same guys leading up to them fighting again. So I was disappointed in how it played out, how it was over so quickly. I thought that it could have been a much more exciting fight given both of their, standards and everything. But credit to Pantoja. He's the man. And you're right. Davis and Figueiredo did beat Pantoja in 2019. But since that loss, Pantoja has only lost one other fight to Askar Askarov. He has beat everybody else since then. Matt Schnell, Manel Kopp, Brandon Royval twice, Alex Perez, Brandon Moreno, Steve Urseg, Kai Kara France, and Kai Asakura. So
yeah, what a run! What names too. Good for him.
It appears at the moment that Dustin Ortiz. Shout out to Dustin Ortiz. Got a win over Pantoja back in 2018. But as far as the top of the tops for the division, Davis and Figueiredo and Askar Askarov are the only two guys that Pantoja hasn't beat. So he's beaten damn near everybody else. And Davis and Figueiredo isn't even in the division anymore, so we don't really got to worry about him trying to avenge that loss. But it's going to be a very interesting fight between him. I feel like he might try to do the same thing that he did against Kai Asakura, come out, get a hold of him right away, get him on his back, and just smother him, try to wear him down, which is the smart thing to do. That's nothing wrong with that at all. It does suck that we're not going to see the firefight that could happen. Not going to see something like a Joshua Van Brandon Royval type fight, but I mean,
we could
absolutely.
If those takedowns are stuffed, 4 or 5 takedowns stuffed in that first and second round, and it might end up being all right. We're gonna throw hands.
Yeah,
it's like
that is. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I mean, Brandon Royval wasn't able to really get Joshua Van down, but Pantoja.
It's different.
Royval and Pantoja were having really good scrambles and really good exchanges in their fights, but just based on this last one with Kai Kara France, Pantoja is going to be a world of fucking different types of grappling scrambles than he was used to. And before we move on, we gotta of course comment on Ilia Topuria taking out Charles Oliveira in the first round. Oh man, that hurts so bad. So bad. I was watching it with my girl. I watch a lot of them with my girl if we're together on the weekends. And she asked me whenever she's watching. She kind of knows certain names. She knows John Jones. She knows Cody Garbrandt. She knows certain guys that she likes. Sean O'Malley, big names. Conor McGregor, stuff like that. She didn't know who either of these guys were. So before the fight, as always, she asked me, who are we rooting for? And I said, the guy with the blonde hair. And not 30 seconds later, he was unconscious. And that was just absolutely heartbreaking. Ilia Topuria, officially, in my opinion, the Kobe Bryant of the UFC. A guy that I absolutely fucking hate because he beats everybody that I like. But I have to... and I 100,000,000% respect the game, bro. That is quite impressive what he's done. I've heard guys like Sean O'Malley talking about him being one of the GOATs. Pound for pound right now, pound for pound number one, I can understand you making an argument. We got to stop trying to call people the greatest of all time. As soon as they do something cool. I get it. You beat Volk, you beat Max, you beat Charles. Those guys were all considered GOATs. This is something that I can't get casuals to understand or newer fans to understand. When you beat someone, that doesn't mean that you beat everyone they beat. You still have to fucking beat everybody else. You can't say, well, Max Holloway beat everyone else in the division and I beat Max Holloway, so I automatically beat everyone in the division. That's not how it works. Okay. John Jones, George St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, they actually beat all those guys. You can't just knock out Anderson Silva. Otherwise, Chris Weidman would have been the fucking GOAT. You know what I mean? So that's my diehard OG fucking old head unk status rant for the day. Ilia Topuria is not the GOAT. He is not the greatest of all time. He is not the GOAT of the weight class, of any weight class at the moment. But I will say he is more along the lines of Conor McGregor status than Demetrius Johnson status or Volkanovski status. He's doing things that have rarely been done, and he is on his way to being one of the biggest stars that the sport has ever seen. And that alone, that in itself, that's an accomplishment. That's a fantastic thing to have accomplished. And that's, doesn't make you the greatest of all time, but you don't have to be. You know what I mean? You don't have to. Conor McGregor isn't the greatest of all time, but he's the greatest star of all time. And that's enough to hang your hat on. So credit to Ilia Topuria. Like I said, please stop booking him against people that I love. UFC. I really can't take this anymore. You guys are giving me panic attacks in my sleep over all this. But how'd you feel about that? How'd you feel about the run that he's on? Where do you think he goes next?
Where I think he goes next versus where I want him to go for his legacy, because at this point he wants to fight for greatest of all time. That's what he wants to do. He keeps talking about his legacy and all that stuff. So him just taking a fight against Paddy Pimblett right now is not a good idea. Paddy Pimblett, his last 3 fighters are 0-13 in their last 13 fights. So maybe have him fight either Justin Gaethje or Arman Tazoukian. And if they win...
Sorry to interrupt. I promise this is the last time I'll interrupt. But
that's all good.
They very, very badly need to stop trying to do the face-offs right after the fights in the cage. Stop pulling people in the cage to do face-offs right away, because that was such a bad look. You had Joshua Van face off with Pantoja right after his fight. I get it. Pantoja is the champ. Joshua Van just beat the #1 contender the previous fight. Having them face off, that makes sense. You got Ilia Topuria, who just won the belt, a vacant belt, facing off with the #8 ranked guy, while you have #1 and #3 also in attendance. This is absolute casual pandering. I called it for years. I told you they were going to try to work the Ilia Paddy fight for a championship in Spain, because that's all they're fucking worried about. I knew it was coming, but stop it. Just fucking stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Apologize for interrupting, please.
Oh no, you're good. You're good, because I fully 100% agree with it. I do believe that they should do Paddy versus either Justin or Arman. Preferably Arman Tazoukian, because I'm sorry, Justin Gaethje, I know you've won 3 of your last 4 fights or 4 of your last 5, but you're on a 1-fight win streak. You got knocked out, you got your ass kicked, and then brutally knocked out in the same fight. And then you got on a 1-fight win streak against a guy that's numbered like 11. And I know you took it on short notice. That wasn't who you were supposed to fight. You were supposed to fight Dan Hooker. I understand that. But at the same point, it does bite you in the ass a little bit. And to me, I think Ilia Topuria is an unbelievable talent. Like, is he greatest of all time? No, he isn't yet. He isn't by any means. Does he have the talent level to get there? 100%. There is no doubt in my mind. If you listen to him talk, like in multiple podcasts, multiple interviews, if you know Spanish, you can listen to some of those. He's extremely smart individual. And how he fights, extremely smart. He out-grappled Charles Oliveira. The only other person that out-grappled Charles Oliveira at 155 is Islam Makhachev.
Yep.
That's it. And what is Islam? The greatest lightweight of all time. So, I mean, and he made it look easy. So I don't want to see Ilia fight Paddy Pimblett right now. If anything, if you're going to just throw someone in there, you throw in Arman. Because at least Arman's on a 9-fight win streak. He pulled out of the fight the last day, either a weight cut or bad back. Dana White said 2 different things, so we don't know which one's true, but it's one of them. So I would rather see that as much. And you know what? You get the bad guy versus the bad guy. That's really what you get. You get the golden spoon bad guy versus the guy that didn't have much money and worked himself with this.
Yeah.
Guess what? He gets the...
It's intriguing.
And it's also extreme. If he manhandles Arman, then you get the biggest fight in the UFC. You will get Islam versus Ilia. If he smokes Arman, you can't argue him running to 170. You can't argue and be like, dude, I defended this belt against the best guy in the weight class. No one's beaten Arman. I beat him better than Islam did. I'm chasing Islam to 170. I'm going to go for the 3 belts, the first ever do it, and beat Islam. And Islam is possibly top 10 greatest of all time with his resume. And,
right.
And it's like, and that happens, then we can start talking GOAT like status. Like, okay,
yeah,
if he beats Arman, then goes to 170, wins 3 belts and beating Islam, and Islam still needs to win that belt too. That's not an easy case. There's a lot of ifs. This is all ifs. That's all this is. But I mean, it seems like a match made in heaven. Ilia versus Islam. Now it's more intriguing than ever. We saw him manhandle Charles. We all love Charles, but 35 years old. I don't want him to see a 36-year-old Justin Gaethje in there with him. If Dustin Poirier wins, I don't want Dustin Poirier to say, I'm not retiring. I want to fight Ilia. I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah.
Give me the 29, 30-year-old Arman versus a 28, 29-year-old Ilia. Give me that. Give me a young blood killer against a young blood killer. What's wrong with that?
Nothing as far as I'm concerned. My only qualms with the Ilia and Islam fight is that I feel like it would be in Ilia's best interest to do it at 155, only because going up against Arman Sarukian is 5'7" with a 72.5-inch reach. Ilia Topuria also 5'7". He's got a 69-inch reach, so he's given up a little bit on reach, not much on height. We've seen Ilia against 2 guys that were taller and longer than him, knocked them both out with Charles and Max. So not too big of a discrepancy as far as reach is concerned. I think Ilia will definitely have the power advantage since he's a little fucking bull. Like I'm telling you, I posted it on High Fight IQ on Instagram, guys, go follow. I posted it on the page. He is clearly been doing nothing but squats and deadlifts to bulk up to 155 because the dude is just an absolute tank as far as his lower body is concerned. And when you're smaller, when you got shorter stature, makes it a little bit easier. You got lower center of gravity. You're able to pack on a little bit more as far as lower body is concerned. But here's where the issue is. Islam Makhachev 5'10", so he's given up 3 inches with a 70.5-inch reach. So he's got him on reach, he's got him on height, and also I think he's gonna. I mean, Ilia Topuria was much more solid, much more built in the lower body than Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is scrawny like me. He's tall, long, scrawny, lanky. Able to use the long limbs to his advantage and everything, but Ilia Topuria had the size and the power advantage on him 110%. I think Islam Makhachev is just as fucking built, and at 170, dude. I mean, we haven't seen Islam at 170 yet, but he's a burly boy. He's those Dagestani wrestlers. They're all lats. They're all just fucking lats and legs and arms, and that's so. I mean, going to 170 for Ilia, I don't know. It was kind of like how we were with the position we were in with him coming up to 155. We weren't sure if he should go right into a title fight or if we needed to see him at that weight to see like, is he really going to be able to do this? 155, he clearly is able to. I would not argue giving him the opportunity to go up and do it at 170, but I think just the further up you go, the less likely it is that he's going to be able to do that. And I mean, we haven't seen Islam get popped like too much at 155, and you got to figure at 170 he's probably going to be able to handle punches a little bit better, especially from smaller dudes. So if Islam is able to go up and take the boxing of Jack Della Maddalena without getting rocked, without getting dropped, without getting knocked out, secure the 170-pound title, I won't feel confident in Ilia being able to get it done. If Islam Makhachev goes up to 170, gets beat, doesn't win the 170 and then goes back down to 155, I think that Ilia Topuria can absolutely get it done.
Yes, I agree 100%. Yep.
Like you said, there's a lot of ifs, a lot of stuff that we don't know yet. So we're going to have to wait and see. But damn, man. I normally hate all this bouncing around for weight classes. I hope these guys just find somewhere and fucking sit tight for a little while. But
and 170 has so much going on, so it's like you kind of it wouldn't honestly be bad. They just
got a new champ.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad if Islam did lose by decision and just go back down to 155, and then that 170 division can figure themselves out because there's so many contenders. So it does kind of suck for the division if you have this whole Ilia Islam thing happen. I feel bad for all the fighters that are in the top 5, top 8 that are young studs. You have Morales, you have Ian Gary, you have Shavkat, you have Sean Brady. You have a bunch of studs up there that are ready to fight for the title. Yeah. Kamaru Usman, he's 37, whatever he is. and look at him. He looked great. Yeah,
just took out like number 2, number 3.
He's Joaquin Buckley, the rising star, and just, all right, for 4 rounds, I'm just going to dominate you with my grappling. And he looked as good as ever. And like, that's kind of what sucks, because like when you get 2 guys that are just bigger stars than the rest of you guys at the moment, and I'm not saying Kamaru Usman isn't a star, not at all. Kamaru Usman is one of my favorite fighters because of how active of a champion he was. So that's my favorite champion, is an active one. So like that's why Kamaru Usman will always have my respect 100%. Even if his fight style is not your cup of tea, I don't care. He's fighting. That's what matters. And it's just he's not the star power of Islam and Ilia at the moment. Those 2 have other nations plus the American people. Kamaru Usman right now, I understand he's the Nigerian nightmare, but he has the American people at the moment. And he's older, so a lot of people, even with that win, are kind of writing him off on as much. But it's a lot of ifs. But at the same point, for Arman's legacy's sake, please have them sit out a little bit. Just sit out a little bit. Let them fight, please. And if none of them are willing to fight, give them all the middle finger. Just pull a John Jones and be like, I'm sitting until one of you guys make it worth me fighting you. Like this one I understand, because we're actually talking about a 28-year-old. 28-year-old. Like he could have another 7 years of this, even though he talks about 3 to 5 more fights, whatever. He's strictly looking for legacy. Fighting Patty's not legacy. Not at this point.
Right. No.
Arman would be better for legacy, in my opinion. Arman would be better for legacy because he's on like a 9-fight streak. He's lost to only Gamrot and Islam Makhachev on a short notice debut in the UFC, and lost by decision on both. It's like not been finished at all in his career. That's a good chin to crack. Plus, a lot of people don't like him for that golden spoon that stuck up his ass. So,
oh man, it sucks, because right when we finally get all this worked out at heavyweight, like we've been asking, now there's a log jam at the smaller divisions. Man, we just can't keep the damn game running, man. We got to keep the show going. Before we get too much deeper into this episode, we got to give a quick shout out to this episode's sponsor, Bucked Up Supplements. The good people at Bucked Up aim to provide customers with the highest quality supplements and fitness products to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Bucked Up is committed to using only the best ingredients and the latest scientific research to create innovative and effective products that enhance performance, increase energy, and promote overall wellness. Bucked Up provides an array of supplements, including pre-workouts, proteins, creatine, test boosters, BCAAs, vitamins, and their signature deer antler velvet spray. And with their 45-day money-back guarantee on all supplement products, you don't have to worry about wasting your hard-earned money. So drop on down to the link in the description, click that, go right to their website, and make sure you use code FightPit20 to receive 20% off your supplement order every time you order. Thank you to Bucked Up for rocking with the Fight Pit. All right, baby, let's get on into this Lewis versus Teixeira card. We're going to take a look at the prelims first, opening up the night. Sean, did you get a chance to look at the odds? Did I get those up in time for you?
Yeah.
Some very surprising odds on this one.
Weird ones.
I could not understand some of these. I mean, I do kind of understand them, but that's crazy. First listed fight of the night, at least. Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. Fatima Klein at a minus 1,400. That's Amanda Nunes odds, bro. That's Payton Talbott fucking early on odds. That's insane. That's insane. And then next one up, we got Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. Mike Davis at a minus 900. What? Dude, if Fatima Klein and Mike Davis don't finish their fights in the first minute, I'm gonna this makes absolutely no sense. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Walter Walker. Shout out to Gage. I know he's banging his head against the wall over this one. Lauren Murphy versus Eduarda Mora. Jake Matthews versus Chidi and Joe Kwani. And the homie, friend of the Fight Pit, Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis, who we also are quite fond of. I actually do. I mean, we have been critical of the fight nights all year long. 2025 has been a rough one as far as fight nights are concerned. But we have been turning it around. I think that this one kind of keeps that going. I do like these fights. How do you feel about these prelims? Anything that jumps out at you? Anything you want to note before we get into the picks?
The last two times Fatima Klein has fought, she has been a massive favorite. She did lose one of them by a split decision, if I am correct, maybe unanimous decision. But then the last fight, she absolutely dominated, KO'd. And that's the thing. She is very good everywhere. She's super young. And basically, Vegas odds sees her as one of these girls that actually has insane potential absolutely everywhere. So I'm thinking that that's why she's such a favorite, but she's going against a 8-1 record, good fighter, but we'll see. I don't think 1,400 or 1,500 should be the odds in any woman fight.
I don't think
I'm just being honest.
Should ever be that.
It definitely, honestly, that's kind of true, because it is a fight at the end of the day. It's a fight, and one shot ends it. Legitimately, it doesn't matter. And
to note, she lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius last year by unanimous decision.
A legitimate name. That was her UFC debut on top of it, if I'm correct.
Yes, it was.
That's insane UFC debut for a woman fighter.
Yeah,
just want to put that out there. That's pretty rude. That's pretty rude.
That's to your credit. That speaks to how highly they think about her.
Yeah. So there's a reason she's this big of a favorite. I feel very safe. I feel very safe with betting her for a finish, as much as I'm not a fan of doing that with women, but she's so clean everywhere. She is. Yeah. I think she had the jitters the first fight. If I am correct, she was pushed back on her back foot a lot the first fight and in the UFC, and the second fight she worked that out, and she's even talked about it since then, saying how she's going to be the pressure fighter, and she fights way better when she pushes a pace, and she feels comfortable anywhere. So I feel like she now has that confidence. She got the win under the belt, the KO under the belt. That one, I think, will be a finish. Mike Davis, I don't believe the odds should be that big either, by any means, but I'll give him the win also. Walter Walker versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. Anytime us in the Fight Pit pick a Walter fight, it doesn't go our way. I'm picking Kennedy to get a KO.
Yeah,
but we're probably going to not get this correct, because we just have a horrible record with Walter Walker. We really do. It's unbelievable how bad it is.
Yeah.
Lauren Murphy being that big of an underdog is pretty surprising to me. That one was another one that caught me off guard. She's a good fighter.
I agree. I think
She's
the
old,
main
though.
reason that is she's 42. So
Yeah, she's old.
we got a few 40-year-olds on this card, bro.
This is a veteran card. There's
Yeah.
some young bloods too. So it's like it's
True.
it's interesting. I do think she should be an underdog, but it's like minus 750. That's a little ridiculous. Definitely for someone that's fought for the belt, that's fought well in the top 15. So
Yeah.
it's like I understand the age, but minus 750 is a little bit of a stretch.
Yep.
Like Jake Matthews, always a fan, slight underdog. He is going against a pretty good fighter too. That's a close matchup. That's one of the closest matchups on this card, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have a favorite in that fight. I do feel a finish is happening in that fight, though. That's my opinion. Is a finish will happen.
Yeah.
Not confident enough to pick a winner on that at all. And I think we have. Is that the last? Nope, one more. Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis. I'm going underdog in this one. Not just because of we've had Max Griffin with us and whatnot, and we're friends and family to Max Griffin when it comes to rooting for him.
Right.
It's because Chris Curtis has been on this weird stretch. Weird stretch with these weird split decisions, stoppages, stuff like that. And he's slow in that first round. And I think Max Griffin will push the pace, win that first round. And this is a 3-round fight. You win one round, and guess what? You're pretty good right there to win this fight.
Yeah.
You just got to get one more.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this being like a split decision or a really close unanimous decision, 29-28, Max Griffin. Neither guys get finished either. Both guys have good chins. Good,
Right.
They're not guys that get finished. So Max Griffin, 29-28, underdog is going to win this fight.
Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby. So as far as picks for me, I'm going Mike Davis. I'm going Kennedy Nzechukwu. I'm going Eduardo Mora, and I'm also going Max Griffin. Max Griffin, one of my dogs of the week. Eduardo Mora, one of my locks, and Mike Davis, another lock, just because, fucking dude, minus 900. You better be a fucking lock.
Yeah, I agree.
For bets, I'm as always, no surprise here. I'm going a lot of finishes on this card. I got the Ramirez Davis fight under 2.5. I got Kennedy Nzechukwu and Walter Walker under 2.5 rounds. I got Murphy and Mora also under 2.5, and I'm going Griffin and Curtis over 1.5. I think that fight, I think it's going to draw out. out. If there's going to be a finish, I think it's going to be a late finish. So just to play it safe, I'm going over 1.5 on that one. Give me your prelim picks first, and then we'll go bets. Any just official picks. You don't have to do the whole thing. If
Klein, Davis, Kennedy, Njoku, Adora Mora. I'm gonna skip everything in the welterweight fight. That fight's just too close and everything.
Yeah, I'm skipping that one too.
And I'll just take possibly my dog of the week here right now. I'll just toss in. We're going Max Griffin, and we're going to also say over 1.5, but also I'm picking the underdog Max Griffin.
Do you have any specific bets for the rest of that one? Anything special?
I think under 2.5 for Kennedy Walker fight, and I will say the same thing for under 2.5 for the first 3 prelims, all of them under 2.5.
Under 2.5. Gotcha.
Yeah. This prelims, because of the odds, you have to assume finishes, but it's definitely one that you can make multiple parlays on, for sure. This is one of those you could.
Good call. Good call.
Definitely with the prelims. Main card, it's going to get a little dicey. We're going to get a little dicey on this main card.
True. Now let's jump on into this main card. We are opening up with Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokkos. How do you like this one? What picks you got?
I'm just going to go under 2.5 rounds. These two are going to most likely just slug it out. That's really how I think it's going to go. Tuco does have a little bit more of a ground game because the Tafa brothers aren't known for any sort of ground games. They're there to kill you or be killed. Yeah. That's how they are. And that's the thing. Like, the Tafa brothers have nuclear bombs in their hands. That's why you have even if they're going against John Jones, you would have to make the odds a little closer just because they can nuke anyone. And
True.
I'm gonna, if I had to pick a fighter to win this, I feel like it's Tafa, but I'm not confident in that. I think if you want to play this one safe, under 2.5 rounds, if Tafa gets stuck on his back, I think he will get finished. He's been finished by submission before on his back. And Tuco does have enough grappling to do that, but he's going to have to get hit to do it and stay awake.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you locking in Tafa, or are you skipping this one?
I think I'm going to skip that. The only thing I'm locking in is under 2.5 rounds.
Nice. Tafa under 2.5. I agree. I'm going to say Tafa and Tokkos goes under 2.5. And just to try to bolster the record a little bit, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to lock in Junior Tafa money line just because we've been the Tafas have been putting in work, keeping heavyweight moving. So
really, no joke.
Got to try to, got to try
give him some love.
Yeah, give him some love. Absolutely.
100%.
Next one up, we got Vitor Petrino versus Austen Lane. Vitor Petrino a -700 versus Austen Lane at a +500. Definitely don't think that you should be doing that either. No. I think this is another one of those where it's like it could go either way. Austen Lane, even though he's on a skid, dude hits hard. Former NFL player. He's had some good wins. He's had some knockout wins. And Vitor Petrino has been caught. He's been caught by Jacoby. He got caught by Anthony Smith. And I don't feel confident in very many people ever being a -700, but definitely not Vitor Petrino. No shade, no hate or anything, but Austen at this bigger weight class, dude, Petrino has shown that he's capable of getting caught, and Austen Lane is capable of catching you. So yeah, that's a shit fucking odds to try to fucking land on, man. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna play it safe and say Vitor Petrino, because if you're a -700, you better fucking win. And once again, I'm going to say this fight is under 2.5 for the bet. And I'm also going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Petrino by KO, because that's absolutely what should happen. What do you got for this one?
Not an easy fight for a UFC heavyweight debut, I will have to say. Moving up to heavyweight, it looks like, because Austen Lane is 6'6", big dude. He's a big heavyweight. This ain't and he's not like a fat heavyweight. He's going against a heavyweight that's in shape.
He's an athlete. Yeah, that's
a tough fight to go against for your heavyweight debut. And I love the move. I really do. Petrino was a massive man at 205. He was 6'2", so he wasn't one of these 6'4", 6'5" guys. He's not like a Ratchik or Alex Pereira. But the thing was, he's, when it comes to height, but his size, his build, his back, he had a monster damn back and legs.
Yeah.
And that's why he got chinned, probably. Like, massive. I mean, he did get knocked out by the guy with, once again, nuclear power in his hands. And then Anthony Smith did get him with the submission. He went for a takedown and got the Gilly group.
The parlay killer.
The parlay killer, Anthony Smith. Happy retirement. Stop killing the fucking parlays. I really like Petrino. He's only 27 years old too, so he can make those mistakes. Moving to heavyweight was a beautiful move. He could be 30 years old and fly through this weight class and be fighting Tom Aspinall on his 13th title defense. Like, that's legitimately what could be happening here.
Possible.
Both of them are on a little bit of losing skids. I'm rooting for Victor, Petrino, I like him. I know I'm always one of the young blood lovers, it seems like, for some reason, but I feel like this was a good move. I kind of was upset when him losing to Anthony Smith as much as I like Anthony Smith. Victor Petrino hopefully makes a statement, knockout. I want to see him look like he's a smart fighter, though. Against Anthony Smith, he did not look like a smart fighter.
No.
His next fight, he did get caught. He just got caught. That's what happens. It's light heavyweight. That's what's going to happen. You're fighting big dudes.
And Dustin Jacoby catches people. For sure.
He has heavyweight power.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's a light heavyweight with heavyweight power.
Yeah.
So people need to not forget that one. So it's not like he got knocked out by a nobody. Like, he got knocked out by a true knockout artist. So I can see him doing well. Austen Lane's not the cleanest fighter, but he's an athlete, and that's what scares me. Like, his super explosiveness, a random knee up the middle can catch him. Like, some goofy thing can happen here. You could see some weird spinning elbow. Like, but Austen Lane does not have the greatest ground game. So we're going to see a stand up, someone's going out cold fight. So under 2.5 is the safest bet. As much as Victor Petrino is the minus 700 favorite, I don't believe in anyone being a minus 700 favorite on a 2-fight losing streak. Don't believe that. Don't care who you're fighting. You could be fighting me. It's like, you should not be a minus 700 favorite on a 2-fight losing streak. So under 2.5 is the safest bet. I'm going to go with Victor Petrino also.
Next one, very interesting one. I'm curious to hear your ones on this one, because I know that you're a big fan of Morgan Charriere. We got Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charriere. Charriere is as of the time of recording right now, he's a minus 255. Nate Landwehr at a plus 215. This is an interesting one. I was kind of battling with this one. I'm going to go with Morgan Charriere money line, but Nate Landwehr is just the toughest dude. And given that Morgan Charriere is favored to get finishes in almost every fight that he's in, Nate Landwehr has been finished, but he's the type of dude you are going to have to hit him with a locomotive. Every single car on that train has to run him over before he stops coming forward at you. Even when he's winning, if he gets you on the ground, he just stands up and is like, no, I don't just want to win. I want to fucking put you down. I want to put you out, man. He is so game, and it is so awesome. Shout out to Nate Landwehr. Possibly at some point, I don't know if Nate Landwehr does interviews. I haven't seen any really, but would love to interview Nate Landwehr. I think Nate Landwehr is going to put up a very tough fight for Morgan Charriere, assuming Charriere doesn't just, land some crazy flatline knockout in the first round or so. I'm going to say this one goes over 1.5, because I think if Charriere is going to get a finish, he's going to have to really work for it. So I got Charriere money line as the pick, and I'm going to go Landwehr Charriere over 1.5 as the bet on this one. What do you got, Sean?
I'm not going to disagree much at all on this. Nate Landwehr is going to he's a dog. There's no other way to put it. He's a dog. He fights. He brings it. He is hittable though. That's a big thing. And Morgan, he likes putting people out cold because of it. And they both do. But one's a cleaner striker, and honestly it seems like more pop currently in his hands. And you look at their last losses, and I do think Morgan has the harder schedule at the moment recently. This is a close fight. I think minus 270 might still be a little too high of odds to me, but I do think it is the right favorite. And I am going to go with the favorite. The say knockout, I could see it because Nate did get knocked out in December, and this is 7 months later, but it's within a year, and you just got knocked out. So I mean, that's not always a great sign. So I'm gonna go Morgan. I think I'm just gonna go agree with you straight off, over 1.5 and Morgan to win this fight.
Good call. I saw that coming.
I was thinking under 2.5, but I was like, it could go to decision. It could.
Landwehr is just a dog, bro.
Yeah,
he's so tough. He's so tough, and he hits hard, man. You never, if he clips Charriere first round, Charriere could just be in survival mode for a couple rounds. You know what I mean? And Landwehr, if he gets you hurt, dude, he's not backing off. No. He's coming after your ass.
No, yeah,
man.
Definitely.
So yeah, we're unanimous on Charriere, but Nate Landwehr, absolute favorite of the fight pit. All right, next one up. Very interesting one. Very interesting as far as the odds. Very close one. We got number 14 ranked Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. I know. Yep, that is the exact analysis of this one. Is a big fat This one, I think, given that Calvin Kattar was so highly ranked and was doing so well for so long, it's very surprising to see that he's on a 4-fight losing streak at the moment. I believe it's 4. It's not 5 yet, right?
It's 4.
Yeah. Granted, he has been going up against the best of the best.
Yeah, they're killers. They're absolute killers.
So nothing to hang your head about losing to the guys that he's lost to. Yusuf Zalal, that last fight was a dud. Yusuf Zalal just playing it safe, and very difficult to judge Calvin Kattar on that loss, because that was just somebody getting ahead on the cards and just coasting, and it's frustrating, but you're in the UFC, you got to do what you got to do, man. Yeah. But then also losing to Aljamain Sterling, losing to Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, and guys like that. He's fighting the top of the tops. Max Holloway, of course, put a clinic on him. He's not losing to bad guys. He's not on the type of losing streak where we're like he needs to think about hanging it up. Still ranked number 14 in the division. And it wasn't a very decisive, dominant loss to Yusuf Zalal. So we do love Calvin Kattar. We love all the boys in the New England cartel. But this one, Steve Garcia is an animal, bro. Absolute animal. I think, let me pull it up real quick. I believe Steve Garcia's last however many wins, last 5 were all finishes, right?
Yep, he's on a KO streak of being KO'd or KOing his last 7 in a row. So he got 1 by KO, lost by KO, won the next 5 by KO. And the names are decent. Like Chase Hooper's on there. That's a hell of a name to KO. Kyle Nelson was his latest win by KO. Good win.
Sang-Woo Choi doing well. That's a good knockout.
Good, he has names.
Melky Costa.
Yep.
And then Nurdan Becky. That's not a bad win either.
No. These are the guys not in the top 15, and people don't like. The biggest name right now probably is Chase Hooper. That's on that list because how well he's been doing. Sorry about that, but he's knocking out people. These aren't these aren't bums. These aren't cans. Normally we use the term cans when it's they're feeding a guy's record to build him up. That's not the case here. This guy's 33 years old. They're not trying to just feed him cans. They're trying to give him good opponents, and he's knocking them out. Yeah. They think this is a good matchup, and he's KOing them. So,
dude is crazy. Yeah. And as much as I really want to see Calvin Kattar get back in the win column, I think Steve Garcia is going to be a very tough test. Very tough test. He struggled a little bit with the grappling of Yusuf Zalal. I don't think Steve Garcia is going to be looking to grapple him. I think Steve Garcia is going to give him the type of fight he's looking for. It's going to be a stand-up match. Both of these guys, excellent strikers. Calvin Kattar, some of the best boxing that we've ever seen. He's, kind of been on a skid and hasn't quite looked himself lately. If he can look himself in this fight, I think Calvin Kattar has what it takes to get it done. But I think that we kind of gotta go with the motion of the ocean on this one. So I'm gonna lock in Steve Garcia. I'm gonna make him one of my locks of the week, and I'm gonna say this fight goes under 2.5, and I'm also going to throw a little bit of money on Garcia via KO, because I think if Calvin Kattar if Calvin Kattar gets caught, man, Steve Garcia is he's a finisher. He's a finisher, dude. He's going to be looking to finish. He's not going to be looking to outpoint. He's not going to be looking to drag it out. He's going to be trying to put him away. And Steve Garcia's got heavy hands. He's got great boxing. They both have great stand-up skills. They both have great striking. But Steve Garcia, I think, has the edge and the power. And if this turns into a firefight, like I'm hoping it will, Steve Garcia lands a few good ones, nice and clean, we could see Calvin Kattar go down early. So I'm going to say Steve Garcia, money line, and I'm going to say this fight goes under 2.5 with some sprinkling on Garcia method of victory by KO TKO. How do you like this one?
I have Steve Garcia in this one. At first, when I saw this fight, my first instinct was like, ooh, it's a good matchup. The odds really close. I'm like, yeah, it could be this close. But more I look at it, I'm like, 37 years old, Kattar. You only have one prime, as Khabib always says. Yeah. So it's like, is he out of his prime now? Are we going to get that Calvin Kattar incredible boxing? Well, we have another guy that's 33 that's KOing everything that moves. And so I feel like this is, unfortunately, unless Calvin Kattar really is one of these guys that can keep the clock staying back and father time away from him, I feel like this will be a kind of like, sorry, Kattar, your time has come. Here comes a KO for the road situation. I think I have to agree with y'all, basically right on cue once again. I think the odds should be a little bigger, just because I understand his 4-fight streak has been like against killers, but now you're 37 and in a lighter weight class. This isn't heavyweight or light heavyweight. This is featherweight. Yeah. Like, Volk's the only one so far that has ever turned back the clock at all in this weight class. Only one. Yeah. And it's tough. I'm gonna save Steve Garcia KO under 2.5 rounds. Same exact stuff you just said. Rinse and repeat.
It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate.
Kattar's one that you just like. You hear him on a card, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a good fight. It's just one of those that you always look forward to. You're like, oh yeah, that's good. We're happy to hear it. Yeah.
Sucks, dude. This getting old shit is for the birds, bro. I'm sick of it.
Talking about it. Next fight.
Gosh, yeah. Speaking of which, the second 40-year-old on the card. The co-main event of the evening, we got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson going up against Gabriel Bonfim. It is Gabriel Bonfim, right? Did I get that right? Or is it the other Bonfim?
Yeah, it's Gabriel. It's Gabriel.
Gabriel. Okay, cool. I always mix those two up. But we got currently, as we sit here today, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, ranked number 12, a plus 275. And if you guys know me at all, you know I'm going to pick Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against anybody for any reason. Mainly because I also started as a karate guy, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has been one of the only guys that I could look up to as far as being a karate guy that's been successful. And I really don't want to see him be done. I don't want to see him be done. I know that even just in the last fight, the Calvin Kattar fight, we gotta assume father time is coming for us all. And Stephen Thompson has been going up against, I mean, he's on a losing streak, but we're talking Shavkat Rakhmonov, we're talking Joaquin Buckley, we're talking the top of the tops, and as highly touted as Gabriel Bonfim is, especially with his grappling pedigree, I don't think Gabriel Bonfim is a Shavkat Rakhmonov. I don't think that he's a Joaquin Buckley. I don't think he's a Bilal Muhammad or a Gilbert Burns. I think that, and like I said, no shade, not hating, just critiquing, just analyzing. Gabriel Bonfim had a little bit of a layoff, I believe. Let me see.
Bonfim fought February.
Right before that, though, it was
about 13 months. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So July, he went from and then So he went November 2023. He got a loss against Nicholas Dalby, and then fought July, and then didn't fight again until February of this year. So a little bit of a layoff, but did look good coming back. Got the submission against Chaos Williams. Very good win. Very solid win.
Pushed the pace.
Yes.
The entire fight. He was in his face the entire fight.
Absolutely. And doing that against Chaos Williams, another guy who's very dangerous,
Yes.
Pushing the pace against a dangerous knockout artist like that. Not easy to do. Secured the submission in the second round. Solid win. I think the jump from Chaos Williams to Stephen Thompson, though, that's a
Massive.
hefty jump. Even though Wonder Boy's ranked number 12, he's in the lower echelon of the top 15. It's a big jump. I'm gonna open it up saying Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's going to be one of my dogs of the week. And I'm also going to say this, surprisingly, I don't do this very often. I'm going to say this fight goes over 2.5. I think that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is just going to try to stay away from him, use his footwork, use his distance management, use his striking on the outside, not remain on the outside. But if he is being pressured, I think that he does dance around the outside. He does keep Bonfim moving, not let him get comfortable enough to just do a straightforward and backward style takedown. I think that Bonfim's really going to have to work to get this one to the ground. Really going to have to work. And I think that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is just going to outpoint him. I think he's going to use his unique striking abilities. I think he's going to use his distance management very well, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I think Thompson will squeak out a decision on this one. So I'm going to lock in Stephen Wonderboy Thompson as the pick, and I got this fight over 2.5 for the bet. How do you like this one?
Oh, that's definitely one of the two options because I don't see a knockout for Wonderboy, unfortunately. The last thing to go is power. One of the first things to go is speed, but unless you're Wonderboy, he just has that.
Right.
He has that. I think he's 3rd degree black belt in karate now. It's unbelievable.
Like that.
He just has that insane karate speed that you only get in karate. That's really it.
I like to say he's shifty. He's shifty.
Yeah. And his movements, you just don't. It's hard to replicate it because you're not going to fight anyone or train with anyone that has his pedigree, his kickboxing and his karate pedigree. You're just not. Mm-hmm. And I think Bonfim, he's a smart fighter. He really was. He knew what he had to do against Chaos Williams. Avoid getting hit by the big blow. Push him up against the cage. Hold him there. Get him down. Keep doing that. Rinse and repeat until you can gas him out. And to be honest, you can do the same, unfortunately, to Thompson, too. What we've seen, Bilal Muhammad's done it, Gilbert Burns did it, and I know these aren't the same caliber fighters, but Father Time has caught up. Thompson's now been KO'd his second time. He's been submitted. There was this time where the only person that ever finished him was Anthony Pettis with that KO. Now he's had 3 more finishes, I believe, or 2 more finishes against him, but he's also been dominated 2 other times. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of Father Time there. There's no other way to put it. He's been figured out a little bit. And I think that's where Bonfim is. After seeing that Chaos fight, he definitely has what it takes to do exactly that. Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to get a submission. I'm going to say over 1.5 because it could be a 3rd round submission. But I do believe it's over 1.5, and I will be going with Bonfim. And this one hurts because I've always loved Wonderboy. Always. So seeing him lose consistently is getting really annoying.
How can you not? Can you not? Just the greatest kind of dude. The greatest kind of dude. One of those unique guys that's, in a game like this, in a sport like this, in a very brutal, aggressive, testosterone driven type of area. Just a dude who just never stops smiling, never curses, works with kids, Always positive, just the greatest kind of guy. The kind of guys that I look up to, kind of guys that I aim to be, when I grow up. I'm 4 years younger than him, but he's the type of dude that, are few and far between, not only with his fighting style, but just with his personality. And you hate to see guys like that going out on losses. So
yeah.
Fingers crossed. We're not going to lock that in as an official pick. We're splitting on that one. But we both got this one going over. You got the over 1.5, and I got the over 2.5. So we're predicting this one's going to be a later. It's going to drag out. So play it safe. Take it over 1.5 on this one. All right. We have made it to the main event of the evening. We have the Knockout King going up against number 13, Tallison Teixeira. At the time of this recording, we are a week prior. Derrick Lewis at a plus 220, Tallison Teixeira at a minus 260. And this is, I believe, Derrick Lewis is the third of 3 40-year-old fighters on this card. I know. We got a handful of 40-year-olds on this one. And I'm
5? Holy God.
And I do believe he's given up quite a bit of height also.
6'7" to 6'3".
Yeah.
Holy. Wow, this is not looking good.
Oh, man.
100% finish rate, too.
Yep, 100% finish rate. I had Tallison Teixeira on a couple other of the assignments that we did, and he has made me a good amount of money with the wins and the finishes, betting him first round, betting him by finish, betting him money line, all across the board. He's been doing well. I'm hoping this is going to be where that stops, but it's not looking good. Derrick Lewis, of course, a very fan favorite, Fight Pit favorite. Also, again, another guy that we hope to talk to in the future. Derrick Lewis, if you're watching, we love you. Doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter wins or losses. We're backing you no matter what. But this one, it's going to be tough to lock him in on this one. I am going to play it smart, and I'm taking Tallison Teixeira money line on this one. But Derrick Lewis is my dog of the week. Absolutely. I came up with 3 locks and 3 dogs on this one, but Derrick Lewis was the one dog that I was like, man, if I have to pick one dog on this one, it's got to be Derrick Lewis, because Tallison Teixeira coming in 100% finish rate, looking to get the finish on this one, of course. Unless it gets to his head and he's like, man, I'm going up against the Knockout King, and I just need to avoid the striking and try to take it down and ground and pound him to get the finish on this one, or possibly try to get a submission. Derrick Lewis has a great ground game. You know what I mean? He's no slouch on the ground. He pretty much invented the just stand up defense. He's one of those guys that's just impervious to grappling for whatever reason. He's gone up against some of the best heavyweight grapplers that we've ever seen, and he's Almeida. Yep. Who was Volkov? Also, dude, just he's immune to grappling for whatever reason. But unless Tallison Teixeira looks to play it safe, I think that he's going to come forward. I think he's looking to keep that finish streak going, and I think that he's going to be looking to stand and bang, and that is exactly where Derrick Lewis is going to want him. And if he's not, I mean, we've seen Derrick Lewis knock out guys that were damn near twice his size. Knocked out Volkov. I think that I don't know, he didn't ever fight Stefan Struve, did he?
No.
I don't think so. No. But he's fought a lot of dudes that were much taller than him, and been able to reach their chin and put them out. And we all know it only takes one from Derrick Lewis. And if Tallison Teixeira does not mind his P's and Q's, Derrick Lewis can fucking put him out quick with very, very little effort. So I'm going to say that the sure shot bet on this one, of course, under 2.5. I'm going to lock in Teixeira as my official pick, but Derrick Lewis is going to be one of my dog of the week picks. What do you got, Sean?
Yeah, I think the announcing the fighters will take longer than the fight itself. I don't think either one of these guys are going to come in there scared. I really don't.
No.
Like, you got a 25-year-old that thinks he's the king, and legitimately at this moment, he's been putting out people, and it's been pretty gruesome too. Like, he put out Tafa, and Tafa's not an easy guy to. It's one thing if you take him to the ground, but you knocked out Tafa. That's a tough one. And he's the one. That was his one fight in UFC, taking a Tafa brother on, and your one UFC fight is pretty ridiculous. Once again, didn't get the luck of the draw, but he delivered. So sometimes that's how you. And now he's getting Derrick Lewis. Oh man, I feel like he's just going to be another one of these guys that's just going to beat our guys that we like in the heavyweight division now. Like, yeah, they're going to give him someone next that we like, but I could see if Derrick Lewis does lose this fight, being 40 years old, he'd be like, dude, I've made a shit ton of money now. Definitely once since I came back, because I know he retired for like a year and a half, and then he came back and he went on this crazy run, knockout streak, everything. My balls was hot, all that good stuff. and he went and he got paid. He definitely got paid. So, but if he wins the fight, yeah, I think he'll stick around. But if he loses, he gets KO'd. I think this might be it. I don't see why he would want to possibly be fighting into his more 40s, you know? But I'm going to go with Teixeira. I wouldn't be upset if this is where he lost his first fight. I really wouldn't. But at the same point, it is fun to see a young contender kind of guy. If he knocks out Derrick Lewis, and he's the cleaner striker too. People don't realize that he's a clean striker at heavyweights. There's not too many clean strikers at heavyweight. There's like 3 I can think of off the top of my head, and they're all in the top 5.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So I'm excited to see it. Obviously, if it makes it to the 3rd round, I'm not going to be excited because we know it's not going to be good anymore. But it's going to be if it's under 5 minutes, it's going to be hell on earth for both of them. That's for sure. Yeah.
Do you got a bet for this one?
We're going under 1.5. It's not making it. It's just late 2nd round. I hope not, at least.
Under 1.5. Yeah, and that's another thing that scares us because we're looking at a heavyweight main event, and that's us in the fight pit. That's our kryptonite. Yeah. Yes, let's go. But that's we've seen Derrick Lewis come into fights too and just not look in prime Derrick Lewis form. Where he's either got stomach issues or just not feeling it, and we could see that happen. The Tai Tuivasa fight comes to mind. Derrick Lewis does have fights where he comes in and he looks like he could knock out the entire world. But he also does have fights where he comes in and you can tell it's just not there. And unfortunately, he's in the heavyweight division. So you come in and you're not there. That's a tough spot to be in. And Teixeira too, to your credit, he does have very clean striking. One thing that I do notice is that he doesn't cover up very well, but also he's so much taller than everybody. Like, he really doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, he's punching down for the most part. So of course, you're not going to be really worried about covering up against guys that can't even reach you. So, but he better be covered up against Lewis. Yeah,
100%.
So we got Tallison, Teixeira, Steve Garcia, Morgan Charriere, Vitor Petrino, and on the prelims we got Max Griffin, Eduardo Mora, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and Mike Davis as our official picks for this episode. I will throw those up on the screen again at the end, but that's what we're looking at right now. As far as locks and dogs are concerned, My locks, if we're unanimous on any of these, then I'll lock those in. But the 3 that I got for locks, I got Mike Davis, Eduardo Mora, and Steve Garcia. Who do you like for locks?
I have Fatina Klein, Mike Davis, Eduardo Mora. Those are ones that I for sure have in for now. Those 3. So 2 of them are unanimous.
There we go. All right. So we got so we'll lock in Davis and Mora as the official locks, and then we got Steve Garcia and Klein on our individual locks. For dogs, I got Max Griffin, Stephen Thompson, and Derrick Lewis.
I got Max Griffin as my definite dog of the week. I kind of want to put Walter Walker in there just because we always screw up on those fights, because to cover our basis. But I'm more confident in Max Griffin. Tuco Tokkos, I think, is a good underdog. And I think Wonder Boy and Derrick Lewis, those are 2 underdogs that could do it. Honestly, the main card in general, like you could sell me on an underdog in any one of those. I feel way more confident in the prelims than I do the main card. The main card has way more names. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough one. I feel like this is going to be one of those ones where like all the dogs on the main card could get it done, but none of them end up doing it, and it just ends up being a favorites only. Yeah. But here's hoping. Don't forget those hedges, guys. Don't forget those hedges. So you're going to lock in Max Griffin, dog of the week?
Yep.
All right. So we got Max Griffin, dog of the week, and sprinkle on Thompson and Lewis as well. And for the locks, we got Mike Davis and Eduardo Mora, and then sprinkle on Steve Garcia and Fatima Klein.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, baby. It has been too long. Are you ready for some trivia, Sean?
Let's go for it.
Let's go, baby. We are at the FightPit UFC Trivia segment, and it's been a few weeks. This is our favorite segment, so ready to jump on into it. I'm going to give you a choice again before we start dipping into the other categories. We got the top 20 most disliked UFC fighters or the top 20 best trash talkers.
I'll go disliked.
Disliked, you got it. So today, Sean is going to be guessing the top 20 most disliked UFC fighters of all time via ChatGPT. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
I said before I thought he was going to be on all 3 lists, so we're just going to continue. We're going to go with Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor at number 10. And these, once again, are allegedly in order. So in order from the most disliked to the least disliked in the top 20.
Most disliked fighters. Man, who was really... Bilal Muhammad.
Ooh, that's a good fucking guess. Let me enlarge this real quick.
They don't know who he is, do they?
Bilal Muhammad now. Chat GPT did not remember the name. That is hilarious.
People did not like Bilal Muhammad.
Good one, dude. That was good. I tip my hat to you on that one. That was a good one. No, but Bilal Muhammad not on the list.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. Disliked fighters, UFC. Oh man. I don't know why I'm thinking Tim Silvio.
Very good pull. Very good pull. Not on this list though. Ooh. No.
Well, they might not be thinking that old back.
There are a lot of more recent fighters. There are some older fighters on there that might be a little tough, but I think for the most part, you know all these guys.
Is Magomed Ankalaev on this list?
No, that's too recent.
Okay, good. I was gonna say.
There's some guys on this one that you will be surprised at. Some guys that you might consider to be fan favorites. But Mainly you'll be surprised just because we like them, but they also do have a lot of people that dislike them.
Patty Pimblett.
Patty Pimblett, not on the list.
Oh, Colby Covington. Jesus.
There you go. Colby Covington, number 1.
Yeah, Colby. It's weird, but I'm feeling like Chael Sonnen's on this list, even though I really like him.
Chael Sonnen is number 8. Yeah, he's one of those ones. So if you continue with that trend, a lot of guys that we like, but not a lot of other people like him.
Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, great pull, number 17. Wow. Yeah. Good job.
Hopefully you get better. Hopefully you get that lung transplant, dude.
Yes. Shout out to Ben Askren. And also, side note, I don't know if this is true. I haven't confirmed it, but if it is true, shout out to Jake Paul, because I read something that said that Jake Paul is covering the cost of all of his expenses. So, still hate you, dude, but great stuff. Great stuff.
That is pretty cool. Disliked fighters, man. Is John Jones on this list?
John Jones is number 6.
Yeah, felt that with his antics and stuff like that.
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, kind of have to think along those lines too. I feel like there's some people that don't like the Diaz brothers. Is Nick Diaz on there?
The Diaz brothers are not on this list, but there is one OG Scrap Pack member. If you can remember the 4 original Scrap Pack guys, there is one.
Oof. No, I can't.
And it has to do with a lot of stuff outside of fighting, political views and whatnot.
Oh, lovely. Jesus. See, I don't follow that part of. I follow the fighters and how they are in their interviews. I don't follow their political stuff at all. That's the issue I would have with that.
Yeah, I do understand. I feel the exact same way. I hate all that stuff. I'll go ahead and give you this one just to get it out of the way. Number 12 is Jake Shields.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I still fuck with you, Jake.
Yeah, but I can see why people like TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, good one. TJ Dillashaw, not on the list. No.
What? Wow, I'm surprised. He's definitely someone that gets under people's skin for sure.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's because he's Henry Cejudo.
Henry Cejudo, number 11.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yep, I was about to say the lighter weight class, and I'm like, well, King of Cringe. There you go. Who else would there? Man, any heavyweights in this, or no heavyweights? Can't really see too many heavyweights.
There is one. Just one, I believe. We got some heavier guys, but just one official heavyweight, and he's number 2. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with allegations outside of fighting.
Greg Hardy.
Very good, dude. Number 2, Greg Hardy.
That makes sense.
Call, dude. Great call.
Makes sense.
And also, if we're talking about allegations as far as steroid usage, number 14, he was a middleweight. I don't know if you'd be able to pull this one. That's a tough one.
Possible steroid usage?
No, definite steroid usage.
Definite.
He was not really a household name, but he was somebody that was on a very solid run and then popped, and everyone was like, "No, we're off the train."
The name that pops up in my head is the one that fought GSP before he retired the first time, but that's 170. That's 170.
Oh, Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah, I was thinking Johnny Hendricks because people love GSP so much that I remember that time period. People hated Johnny Hendricks because of the close fight and making GSP retire, basically, because he didn't want to do the immediate rematch. And then the whole steroids, the USADA came into play, and then all of a sudden he went on a skid, and people were like, GSP might have been right about something.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my theory guys, is what that. I have
Shout
nothing
out to Johnny Hendricks. Just recently became a police officer too. Good on you, dude. Good on you. Number 14, I'll go ahead and give you Nate Marquardt was the middleweight guy. Yeah.
I'm not told that.
I do believe you'll be able to get all the rest of these though. There's some niche ones, some niche ones.
Yeah, I might need some hints with some of these. Because I like most fighters. That's the thing. Even the guys that are bad guys, I like them. That's the issue.
Well, speaking of which, with that train of thought, number 4, somebody that is very polarizing, someone that we absolutely love, but somebody that you can never really put in front of a microphone because you know he's going to say some fucked up shit.
I have 2 names in mind. I was going to say Derrick Lewis, but
nope.
He's going to say some fucked up shit.
The guy right now that you absolutely can guarantee is going to say some fucked up shit.
Guarantee he will.
Mm-hmm. Currently competing.
Oh, damn. Is it Bryce Mitchell?
No.
Gene Silva?
No. You're close with Bryce Mitchell, though.
Close with Bryce Mitchell. Oh, because we're thinking almost the white supremacist style thing. We're going with Sean Strickland.
Strickland, number 4.
Yeah. There we go.
Bam. Number 3, one of the OG trash talkers. Everybody hated him because of his rivalry and alleged ducking of Chuck Liddell.
Oh, Tito Ortiz.
Number 3. Number 5 was somebody who was also on the most liked list, and once again the only female on this list. If you can remember the last one we did, she was the only female. Ronda Rousey. Nailed it.
People disliked her too. They thought that the whole mean act was fake.
Yeah. She kind of grew into her hate after her career too.
Yeah, definitely in WWE. People just absolutely hated her. They hated her.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7, one of the original most disliked fighters. Somebody that we hated but grew to love.
Hated but grew to love. What weight class is this?
Middleweight.
Middleweight. Hated but grew to love. Man, you said original trash talkers.
Yeah, one of the original guys that everybody loved to hate.
Back in middleweight time, Michael Bisping.
Good call. Yeah.
See, once again, I actually really like Michael Bisping, so I never thought of it disliking him. This is the issue with this list. I like all these fighters.
I do too. To Michael Bisping's credit, I was Nick Diaz and Dan Henderson, my guys. Yeah. Nick Diaz and Dan Henderson, my guys. So of course, and being an American, I think it was the 9th season of The Ultimate Fighter when Dan Henderson coached against Michael Bisping. I absolutely despised him. But he won me over just like he did with everybody else. So credit to you, Bisping. Number 9, another OG that everybody disliked. You normally nail this guy. He's the one with the bleached hair.
Oh, damn it. Now I'm drawing a blank. I could picture him. I cannot say his name to save my life. Legitimately. He said the bleached hair, and I just pictured him immediately. Oh, damn.
If you can describe him at all, I'll give you the name. Just say anything that would let us know who we're talking about.
The grappler, right?
Yes.
Yeah, grappler. That's who I'm thinking. The bleached hair grappler, shit talker. I can't, like, legitimately.
Yep. It's been a while since we've heard his name. Number 9 is Josh Koscheck.
Oh my god! Yeah. I say his name every time. I could not get his name out. That's annoying.
I knew you knew that one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left, all at the bottom of the list. Number 13, another guy that we love, but people hated because he was just one of those guys that was so dominant, and he is one of the best, most one of the most intelligent trash talkers. Somebody that was always able to get under everybody's skin, no matter who he was going up against. Lighter weight classes.
Able to talk. Oh, Dominic Cruz.
Dominic
Cruz, man, I loved him too. Another one is like I'm just thinking,
Yep.
like, man, who's disliked down there? And then I'm thinking lighter weight class. His trash talk was incredible. The TJ Dillashaw sitting in front of him, you can't get away from him. Right here, stupid.
Right in front of you, dummy. Oh, I love it. Love it.
Dude,
this one, number 15, might be kind of tough because he's another guy that we don't really dislike for any real reason. He's a middleweight, one of the scariest looking middleweights of all time. Had a lot of great fights, but man, even right now, I'm trying to think of why people don't like him. I'd say one reason that people don't like him is that they're worried that he's going to steal their girl.
What?
There's actually two of them on this one. If you think of the two middleweights that you would most be worried about stealing your girl,
I would say probably Paulo Costa, but that's
nailed it. Paulo Costa.
Is that really?
Yeah,
People
I know.
dislike him?
Yeah.
He's hilarious. Follow him on Instagram, people. He's hilarious. Yes. Jesus.
And Twitter also. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter, but he says some wild shit on there. It's awesome. And then number 18, Paulo Costa fought him not too long ago. The other most handsome middleweight of all time. Is actually a model, I believe, for like Calvin Klein or something.
Oh, Luke Rockhold. Yeah, that one I can see.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to trash talk. He was stuck up as could be, all hell.
Yeah.
I understand that one for sure.
Typical, and I'm only able to say this because I am also a California douchebag, but typical California douchebag, Luke Rockhold. Shout out to you, though. I'm still a fan. I was a fan of Luke Rockhold before he started fighting because him and his brother were surfers, and I grew up California surfing and stuff. Little tidbit for you guys if you didn't know that. Luke Rockhold has a brother that is a very accomplished professional surfer. Last three, we got number 16, number 19, and number 20. Number 16, lighter weight class, bantamweight. Everybody hated this guy because they felt like he should not have been champion.
Lighter weight class champion should not have been champion.
Yeah. As far as I can recall, everyone hated this guy because the way in which he won the belt and then decided that he was going to go with it.
Aljamain Sterling.
Aljamain Sterling, number 16. Gotcha.
One of the most disrespected champions ever.
Yep. Another guy that we still really don't have any problem with.
I have no problems with him, and legitimately, he's willing to fight anyone. Like,
I never had a problem with how he won the belt either. I think everybody just didn't like it because afterwards he was like taking pictures with the belt, like, yeah, I'm the champ now and stuff, and everyone was like, well, you didn't really win it, but I still stand firm that if you win the belt because your opponent fucked up, you won the fucking belt.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. These last two the last one gonna be a little confusing too for us. Number 19 was a lightweight and somebody that didn't quite live up to his potential, but talked as if he was the greatest lightweight of all time. And I think people just really didn't vibe with how cocky he was.
What era?
The Khabib Tony Ferguson era.
Okay.
If Uncle Chael Sonnen was here, he would want to know where this guy fits into all this.
Okay. Man, I'm just trying to print out the top 10 in my head back then. That's the thing, is like I remember looking at these lists every year and stuff like that. So it's like I'm trying to print out the top 10 at that point. Who was up there that was just
so he was he was a title contender. He was the guy that Tony Ferguson beat to become champion.
Oh, Kevin Lee. Yeah, that guy had some haters for sure. I was very happy when that triangle choke went up. Yeah. I will say that was one of the few times I was just rooting for someone to lose more than someone to win. I would admit.
And like we said earlier, I never really have a problem with anybody. But Kevin Lee was, I do understand why people didn't like him.
Yeah, he was a little too. He was kind of had that Luke Rockhold, a little too much stuck up arrogance to him. A little too much. Yeah.
I mean, you pissed off Michael Chiesa enough to attack you at a press conference. Like, you got to be a douche if Michael Chiesa is coming at you, you know?
Yeah, he's like super lovable to legitimately everyone.
Right. Right. And last one on the list, last one on the list, number 20, one of the greatest of all time. Everybody hated this guy because of how he had a couple fight stint where he didn't quite finish fights that everybody felt that he should.
Were you saying Anderson Silva?
We are saying Anderson
Wow,
Silva.
You people are ridiculous. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Legitimately, there's like 3 on this list that I can actually... Okay, 4. 4 on this list that I can actually say, okay, you deserve to be on this list. Other than that, it's like, dude, enjoy the show. Like, come on.
Right.
Like, Connor, I understand. He said some horrible shit. He said some really bad stuff. Like, then you got Ben Askren. I don't know why you dislike him. He's funny. He does the Chael Sonnen thing. He does no four letter words, as he says, no touching, just being a goofball. Same thing with Chael Sonnen. Like, he never cursed. Like, but then you get Kevin Lee, Luke Rockhold. It's like, okay, I understand.
Right.
Michael Bisping was hilarious. Like, even if he was against like one of your guys, he was funny as hell. You got to be like, damn, that was actually pretty good. That's pretty good. Wow. That's insane. I legitimately have maybe 4 on this list that I can actually see being on a once in a while. I think we need to make our own like top 10 like fighters that just got under our skin. That's how we have to label it. Not fighters we dislike. Fighters that got under our skin. Because I don't really have fighters that I just like, oh God, I hope this fighter leaves the UFC. No, I don't. I don't have that. But I think we should make that and see how many we can get of each other. See how we know each other's fighter style.
That's a good call. Maybe one of these days we do our own top 10 instead of trivia. We do like a fight pit top 10 type thing.
Yeah, that's a
good call.
Be pretty cool.
That's a good call. I like that.
Yep.
So to wrap it up, via ChatGPT, the top 20 most disliked UFC fighters of all time in order: Colby Covington, Greg Hardy, Tito Ortiz, Sean Strickland, Ronda Rousey, John Jones, Michael Bisping, Chael Sonnen, Josh Koscheck, Conor McGregor, Henry Cejudo, Jake Shields, Dominic Cruz, Nate Marquardt, Paulo Costa, Aljamain Sterling, Ben Askren, Luke Rockhold, Kevin Lee, and Anderson Silva. And there you go. You nailed a lot of those, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yes. Good job. And you nailed a lot of them without me needing to give you a hint, which was impressive.
Yeah, there's some that I think that could have been on the list, like a Tim Sylvia. If you think back in that day, people really didn't like him. They really didn't.
I wasn't the biggest Tim Sylvia fan. My favorite heavyweight of all time was Frank Mir. So of course I wasn't high and mighty on Tim Sylvia, but.
And people dislike Frank Mir too. That was another one that people like.
That's true. Yeah, he could have been on the list.
He could have been on the list. I almost said Frank Mir too, but I was just like, I digged him. He's like, oh, next time he didn't want to tap. Next time, let me rip off his arm. Like, I thought it was great.
I still love Frank to this day. Still love
Yeah.
Frank. I got to work with him. He's a great dude. I understand why people didn't like him. He kind of had that Luke Rockhold style of marketing and pumping up fights and stuff too. So totally understand.
But he was good. He was really
he
good.
he was the man. He was the man. And shout out to Bellamere, also gonna be doing her thing in the jiu-jitsu, UFC jiu-jitsu here soon. So be on the lookout for the next generation of mirrors. Gonna be insane. And for the record, everyone on this list, we at the Fight Pit absolutely love you. So feel free to come hang out with us anytime. We would love to have you.
Yeah, actually, most of them are some of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
That's to be honest.
It shows you how disconnected we as diehards are from the casual audience. So hopefully that's obvious to everybody.
Yeah.
That was a great round of UFC trivia. It was so good to be back with you. Hate it when we got to take some hiatuses, got to take some layoffs, but it happens. Makes it so much better when we get back in. Appreciate you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a great episode. Great to be back with you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Any new viewers, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to join us every single week. We appreciate it. If not, it's all good. Hope to see you back sometime. All the returning subscribers, thank you guys so much. The support means more to us than we could ever tell you. We we'll be back here for the next UFC fight card. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Fight Pit and go follow us on Instagram at the Fight Pit Podcast. That's going to do it for us in the Fight Pit today. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
When I step in arenas, they call me the champ.